Hello there, boys and girls, and all of those in between. My name is Melina Bitchcock, and I want to welcome you to another fantastic episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, a fantastic talk show where I get to interview some of the best performers from all over. I am so excited because we have the vintage queen herself gracing our fabulous talk show stage. I want to introduce all the way from Portland, Oregon, the one and only Patty Page.
Hi.
Hey, girlie, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing absolutely fabulous, dripping in jewels. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, feeling my oats today with all of this beauty. Speaking of beauty, oh my God, beautiful. You look absolutely drop dead gorgeous today. You are giving me some pinup realness.
Thank you. It's just something I pulled out of the closet. No, actually, Angel Phoenix just hand-stoned this for me. And I just got it from her, so I had to wear it for everyone to see.
Oh my goodness, you gotta love a crafty queen. Angel Phoenix, I love it. You did such a good job. Look at all those jewels just dripping off her bosom so delicately. Well, I know so many people are excited to get to know you, Petty. So are you ready to dive into the bulk of this interview?
I'm so ready, so ready.
Oh my goodness, so scandalous and all. So I think we should speak at the very beginning and talk about what was actually your first exposure to drag.
My first exposure, I think I was probably like 3 years old, and both my parents can vouch for this. There's a video somewhere. I'll have to find it. But I would run around the house with a dish rag, a towel, any kind of fabric I could find, wear it on my head, pretend it was hair. I wanted to be Ariel. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to be a mermaid. That was kind of my very first exposure, the very first thing I ever did. But I didn't really come back to drag until my late teens.
My goodness, your teens. Now, what was your first time actually seeing a drag queen?
I think I was 20. I went to VIP in Southern California in Riverside, and the very first drag queens I ever saw were Angina from Drag Race and Jasmine Masters.
Oh, yes. Oh my
So
God.
that was very exciting, and that definitely awoke something in me. I'm like, I felt a connection. I'm like, I need to be part of this. I want to be a part of it. And now here we are.
Oh my goodness. Now, what was it about all the drag that actually attracted you to it? Was it the lip gloss, the glitter, or was it the fact that you could be a whore and get away with it?
I'm gonna choose D, all of the above. No, I'm just kidding. No, growing up, I really wanted to work like for Disney or do animation. I was very into drawing and art, but then that didn't work out, and so I changed my major to apparel design, and I was doing fashion designing and all kinds of stuff. And then I kind of just like took the back seat and kind of was like, what do I really want? And then drag kind of was this whole big thing. And I'm like, I can do this, 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 and this. And it uses all the things I'm good at. So I just have a good gay old time getting ready.
Oh my goodness, I love it. You know, speaking of back seats, that's where I always get in the most trouble. Well, I'm so excited that you're here. Now, we love the beautiful queen before us that we know as Petty Page, but I do have a question for you, Miss Petty. Who is Elektra Hex?
Gasp. No. Okay, so Elektra Hex. Elektra was how I first started drag. I wanted to start drag kind of as a social experiment. I didn't know if it was something I wanted to do. I was newly out as a gay person. I didn't even come out until I was 19. So being involved in drag and starting drag was a very new and exciting experience. And I didn't know if it was something I wanted to continue. So I'm like, I'm going to do it for a year. We're going to see how well it goes. I chose my name, and my aesthetic was kind of like very witchy, very like gothic, because that's what I was like all about then. But then she kind of evolved into something else.
Oh my goodness. Well, speaking of evolution, tell us a little bit about your drag evolution, and tell us going from Elektra Hex to Petty Page, and do you feel like there were any major aesthetic or makeup changes?
Oh, how fun. Well, aesthetic-wise, I'd always, even since the beginning, been interested in the pinup scene and doing kind of pinup art and being that kind of like iconic woman. And so I kind of wanted to carry that and emphasize more on that, just because I feel like I can carry that through the decades, because I love inciting nostalgia. I love people going down memory lane in all kinds of different eras, 60s, 70s, whatever. And I think another thing, oh, sorry, what was that other question? I got so mixed up.
No, it's okay, girl. So basically, I want to know about the drag evolution of your drag, and basically the change from going from Elektra Hex to Petty Page. And were there any major aesthetic changes or any personality changes even?
Oh, that was it. Yeah. So the way I was painting, my paint definitely evolved. I like to change my paint like every time I do makeup. I like to keep some similar things, but I like to change it up for the most part. I don't like doing anything twice. But I think I wanted people to really just like get who I was, get my aesthetic just from my name, which is why I kind of chose that partially. But the little backstory on my name, the fun little tidbit is my very first year of drag, whenever I would watch someone online or see something or go to a performance, I would like spot people saying things or being shady. And I'm like, oh, she's just being a petty page. She doesn't know. And so I just used it as a term for people being shady. And then through my evolution, through my time off, I was like, you know what? Why can't I be Petty Page? And so I changed my aesthetic and I became who I am, and I'm 1,000 times happier than what I was before.
Oh my goodness, gotta love it. And I have to say, I'm so excited that you are Miss Petty Page, because this queen is stunning. And I have kind of been obsessed with you since you kind of burst out of nowhere in the internet world since quarantine happened. And I'm like, who is she? She could style her own wig. She could do her own makeup. She does this vintage thing. I'm like, I love it. So,
Thank you.
Petty, could you describe Petty Page in only 3 words?
Vintage pinup doll. I think that's what I would choose.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the drag character that is Petty Page then.
So I had this like very big fascination with Betty Page. There was a lot of mystery surrounding her. She was very, very, very popular pinup model, in the 50s. And then at the height of her career, where all these people were wanting her, she decided that, well, I guess people don't want to look at me anymore. In her mind, she made it up. And so she ran away, moved to a different state, and went into hiding. Everyone thought she died. They thought she was murdered, but she just went to live her little life. And I felt a very strong connection to that, and running away and trying to reconnect and find who I am, which is why I kind of resonate with that name now. And I love it.
Oh my goodness. And you mentioned before you became Petty Page, you used to look at people like, she's shady, so she's such a Petty Page. So would you say that you're a sweet or a shady queen?
I think on the exterior, I'm shady, but on the inside, I'm a big old sweetheart. You just got to get to know me a little bit.
Okay. So do you feel like, especially when you put in drag, is there a personality change from everyday life to when you put the hair and makeup on?
I think my personality changes the second I get these brows on. They're the very first thing I do. I do my eyes first, and I'm just like, once the bitch is on, the bitch is out. I don't think I have a big personality change. I don't like change my voice. I don't really do anything like that, but I don't know. I just see things a little differently. It's a newfound confidence. I feel like I can go up to people. I can say things to people. I can, go performing without batting an eye.
Absolutely. As we've mentioned so many times on this damn show, that drag gives us like superpowers to be confident, to basically defeat things that we normally couldn't maybe in our boy personas. But then when we put all this hair and this extravagant jewelry on, all of a sudden we are ready to go to battle and ready to flirt with all the boys.
Of course.
Now, what was the process for you to actually, especially from being a previous drag queen to creating a new character, what was the process of deciding what you wanted to turn into as Petty Page?
So I've always been very in love with things of the past. I always say I feel like I was born in the wrong era, although I'm glad I was born in this era for a lot of reasons. But I I don't know. I wanted to just live these little fantasies, and I know a lot of people have these secret fantasies too, and I just want to like live it out and show people while maintaining this little pinup idealistic image, because pinup has been very present through all the decades, you know, from the 40s all the way up through the 90s. That's just what we call supermodels of the world now. So I don't know. I just want to, I think, make people happy, bring back a sense of nostalgia, and kind of hit people in the heart and make people feel things that maybe they haven't felt for a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I know that you are quite obsessed with Miss Betty Page, but are there any other pop icons, characters, or strong women who've helped influence and inspire you as the drag queen you are today?
Absolutely. Another big queen, which I know you know, Violet Chachki, was a very, very, very big influence on me, even since the very beginning with Elektra. I've always been inspired by like the badass women in movies. I'm obsessed with movies, so that's where I pull a lot of my inspiration and a lot of my my love for the art. And who else? I'm trying to think. I I don't know. I just love the sex appeal of Ariel, even though I shouldn't say that. That's kind of wrong. But I I want to be like this princess, but also be like a badass bitch at the same time. Have you ever seen that movie Elektra with Jennifer Garner?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Of
I'm
course,
obsessed
I'm a
with
total
her.
comic geek, so of course I've seen it.
Yes, no, that was part of the original inspiration for Elektra. But I wanted to carry out just her badass personality and just like her kind of spy techniques and her agility, because all the crazy things she does. I used to do gymnastics and teach it, so you know I kind of bring some of that into my routines, and I still use her as a big inspiration today.
Oh, I get it, Miss Thing. You know, you're also giving me a little Dita Von Teese realness.
Obsessed, obsessed. Did you see her house tour?
No, was it so bougie and fabulous?
It was stunning, stunning. Vintage from the floor to ceiling, everything you can imagine, just thousands of dollars worth of things. It was so beautiful.
Oh my goodness, I'll have to look that up. Now, Miss
Definitely.
Petty, what can we expect from a Petty Page performance?
Ooh. A Petty Page performance is very conceptual. I don't like doing performances where I'm just like lip syncing to a song and kind of just running around. Even if that happens, I have some sort of setup in the beginning or I have some sort of setup at the end. There's always a story being told. There's a person, you know, playing a role. And every time I come out for a number, I'm a different person. So I just think that's really exciting. And I just love showing people different concepts and stories.
Oh, I love that. You know, I think that's the thing that we all try to do as drag queens and entertainers is, yeah, there are a lot of us that go out there and move our lips and pretend, look at me, I know how to dance. But there, I think it takes more than that. And like you said, telling a story and being able to bring a whole concept to life on stage as an entertainer, I think that's really what a drag queen can do to actually create magic on a stage. And I love that you already know that, especially being such a young queen, because a little birdie told me you're only like 24 years old, correct?
I turn 24 next Friday on the 31st.
Oh my goodness, you're so young, girl. Happy birthday for you.
Thank you.
Oh my goodness. Now, what kind of music do you tend to be attracted to for a Petty Page performance?
Um, well, I like to have a good mix. If I get two numbers, I like to pull like a new modern pop song that I can kind of have my little petty spin on. And then I like to pull something that's either a direct reference to a movie or a direct reference to like a movie soundtrack, or something that's just like of a different era, preferably like 50s to the 60s. Um, and I don't know. I'm very open to like all music. I love all kinds of different genres, And that's one exciting thing about Petty Page, is that I don't know when the story is going to be done being told, because there's just so many stories to tell.
I love that. You know, it's true, because as drag queens, you never stop changing. You think, oh, this is my drag aesthetic and this will be my drag aesthetic for the rest of my career. But that's not how it works. We keep evolving, we keep changing, and you know, I can't wait to see what the future holds for Miss Petty Page, because you're already giving us this vintage feel, but I can't wait to see like different sides of you. You've mentioned before that you like classic sci-fi and horror films. Like, I would love to see that within your drag.
Exciting news is on YouTube, actually, at Petty Page. You can see a performance I did for the Witching Hour, where I'd go full grunge queen to the max. Screamo, hair whips, leather. At one point, I'm levitating. You never know what you're gonna see. So like, I love showing different things, and I love having that like hardcore aesthetic, but at the same time being this like bright vintage queen. I don't know, I feel like a chameleon. I'm kind of versatile.
Oh my God, the scandal of it all. You know, I'm just looking at you and talking with you, especially hearing that you did a performance of The Witching Hour. Have you ever considered, especially loving eras such as the 90s, of doing a reference to the movie The Craft and actually dressing up as Nancy?
Well, now that you mention it, that's exactly what that number is. I have
Yes!
audio from that movie in the beginning, in the middle, and I kind of do that Nancy brow, while at the same time kind of just like emulating her personality.
Oh my God. Definitely send me that link so we can post that on the Bitch Talk with Bitchcock page, just so our wonderful audience can see that. Now, you are definitely a pinup queen, which gives us that vintage goodness every single time we see you. Have you ever actually considered dabbling with a little burlesque with your performances?
Of course. I love putting burlesque references in my performances, and one of my favorite things to do, which also is one of my biggest downfalls, is doing a reveal. I love wearing gloves and sliding them off sensually, and wearing like a cute little like cover up that I can go boop, boop, you know, little whatever, pop it out, who knows? But I love that little teasing kind of sexuality of doing a burlesque number, and I feel like it kind of keeps everyone's attention on you, even if you're not jumping around like a crazy chicken with your head cut off, you know?
Oh my goodness. And it's true, because with burlesque, it's very different than normal drag. And I love it because when I've done burlesque, oh my God, half of my drag career. And it's fun because a lot of queens, they think, I'm going to do burlesque and I'm going to go out there and strip. But it's more than that. It's all about timing. Again, telling a story while you're actually doing these different reveals. And as you mentioned before, reveals can go awfully wrong. And
Yes.
it could destroy a whole number. Let's flash back to Farrah Moan's performance of RuPaul's Drag Race when she fell on her ass.
But definitely, no, burlesque is all about timing. And that's one thing I love, because when you really love a song and you get to know when those little tiny like hits are, where you get to do something exciting, that's the part that people really love and really pay attention to.
Well, I definitely can't wait to see some fan dances, because, girl, that's something I cannot wait for Petty Page. And makes me just want to fan myself right now. Now, what do you think makes a Petty Page performance unique?
What makes it unique? Well, I'm like this big. All these other queens are out there, you know, skyscrapers. So I think just like having that like sort of different thing about me, people aren't expecting it. They're like, Petty Page, they're expecting like this big queen. I come out in like this little munchkin. I'm like, hello. And I don't know. I think I'm unique because I feel like I bring stuff that I haven't seen anyone else do in Portland. And that's kind of my mission, is to be that person that brings that kind of niche, you know, to the big city.
Yes, girl. And I love that you mentioned yourself as kind of like pocket sized, because especially out in Portland, there are ginormous drag queens out there, as like Miss Anana and Flawless Shade, which I would love to see you like stand in between both of them and be like, oh my goodness, look at her. She's just so cute.
I'm like half their height.
Well, I love it. Now, Petty Page seems like a very confident drag queen. What do you think makes her so fearless?
The paint.
Tell us about
I
that.
feel like just because the way I paint, I don't know, I feel like I exude a little bit of a bitch vibe, which is fine. I have a very strong RBF. And so I feel like that kind of gives me a little bit of power in a way. I feel like I can walk up to someone and say something. I can walk up to the bar and not feel like, oh, you know, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to be in the way. I'm like, no, I'm here because I am here. You're just here to see me. You know, so like, I feel like this paint just helps me become who Petty is. You know, Petty.
Absolutely. You know, we also mentioned that a lot of us have been inspired from superheroes, comic books, and we all we ever wanted as kids were to become these fantastic superheroes with superpowers. Well, lo and behold, we're now in our 20s. I'll just say I'm in my 20s, and we have the power to shapeshift and change our whole appearance, which doesn't just change our outside, it changes our inside too, because it allows us to literally, like you said, conquer the world. And like you said, know that you're not just in a way that when I love that you said when you're at the bar, because that is something I've never thought about. When you're standing at the bar, because I'm one of those queens, I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I don't need to be here. Oh my God, excuse me. It's like, no, that's your show. You're entertaining these people. Like, own your confidence, own your space. And it's like, bitch, I kind of hate that you know this already at 24 years old and I'm 36 years old learning this.
I don't know. It's come with a lot of trial and error. I've only learned because I've experienced it. But yeah, not even being in the drag scene that long, it's crazy how fast people can learn and what the internet can teach you.
Oh my God, especially this day and age where you can literally learn anything about drag, how to tuck your dick, how to glue down your eyebrows, and how to even paint. And it's like when I started drag, we had none of that. It was 15 years ago, and I lived in a small town. All I knew about drag is what you saw in like Tu Wong Fu, or maybe what you've seen in the random drag queen that would pop up on Will and Grace or Queer as Folk or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's so beautiful to see how drag has evolved, how that it's mainstream, and it gives almost a curve to anyone that starts probably after Drag Race, because it's like you have all this knowledge just right at your fingertips.
Anyone starting drag right now has the highest advantage you have ever had doing drag. You don't even have to leave your bedroom to be a full-fledged drag queen. You can learn everything you need to do at home by other people on the internet. And it's crazy. And I'm so inspired by so many of these young queens, especially like under 21 queens, who are doing makeup that is so insane that I'm like, how do you have the patience to sit there for 8 hours the entire day to do it? I mean, it takes me a while to do my makeup, but some of the makeup these people do is just incredible.
Well, I appreciate that. I know I'm a true beauty and my makeup is just so flawless.
And you especially.
Thank you. You know, I think makeup is what sometimes makes a queen, and not one queen's face is ever going to look like another's. I always think we're a little bit like snowflakes. We're all unique. And it is kind of intimidating. I will say, seeing some of you younger queens, and I'm going to say you younger queens because you're one of them, who can paint like a flawless makeup artist. Like, you should be on the runways of Paris painting those models. And I'm this queen who's been doing it 15 years, and I'm like, why do I still look like a clown?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a lot of patience, a lot of sitting really still, and a lot of really fine brush work. And it's like I said, it takes me at least 2.5 hours to do my makeup. At most, it's taken me like 6.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm one of those 4-hour queens. I always make sure I have 4 hours to paint my face and get everything on. Otherwise, I'm gonna look busted. I'll be, well, more busted than usual.
Yeah, no, I started painting really early this morning. I wanted to make sure I was done on time.
Well, you look truly beautiful.
Thank
Now,
you.
Petty, tell us a little bit about your drag style and what kind of looks we can expect from Petty Page.
My drag style is very inspired by queens like Violet Chachki, by pinup queens like Dita Von Teese. I love that like really clean cat eye and just like a really just like gorgeous, stunning, fishy look. I've tried doing like the big clown Trixie makeup before, and while it's like super, super fun and definitely outside my comfort zone, I just didn't feel completely like myself, you know? That's also why I don't really do bearded drag a lot anymore, because I had that weird disconnect of, oh, I just feel like Tyler in makeup and a wig. I didn't feel like Petty, you know?
What kind of costumes do you tend to be attracted to? I mean, we know you have that kind of vintage look that you like to do, but what kind of like costume do you tend to be attracted to?
I'm just now getting into all the glitter, all the glitz. Before I used to wear a lot of just strictly vintage. I don't really like altering vintage that much. But I've been getting a lot more into like the showgirl outfits and the glittery stuff. So I'm hoping that I can show more of that in the future.
Well, that's because you're hanging out with those bad influences, Kimberly Michelle Westwood and Angel Phoenix. They are just pushing their glitter and sequins on you. Stay true to the vintage. We love it.
And a touch of glitter.
Yes. Now, you do seem like a vintage queen. What is it about that style attracts you to it so much?
It's, I don't know, just the feeling I feel. Whether I'm watching, you know, old movies or listening to old music or rifling through like a thrift store and looking at all these vintage pieces, it's just that warm feeling of life was so different and so crazy, and style has changed so much, and fashion has always been at like the forefront of, you know, our society. So just looking at something and being able to touch something from a different era that has so many memories and so many different like influences is just incredible to me. I'm just so inspired by everything I see every day. And I'm constantly trying to learn and, you know, learn new references, watch new movies, listen to new music. So I don't know, I get off on on the nostalgia.
I get off on several things. Well, girl, I love this because you have such a personality. And I think we can see that through your makeup, we can see that through your clothes. And like you said, I don't see anyone else in Portland that serves us the kind of drag that you give us.
Thank you. Thanks. I really try and be unique, you know, while pulling inspiration from other people and obviously lifting other people up with me. I love making posts on Facebook, just kind of recognizing local queens in the area for all the things that they do. It's one of my favorite things, and it makes me feel really good.
Well, I think that is definitely admirable of you. Now, out of all of your amazing costumes, do you have a favorite costume that you just are obsessed with and that you could wear a million times and never get tired of it?
I do. I just got a new costume. I'm not sure if you're familiar with vintage Barbie outfits, but there was an outfit that came out when Barbie was first produced in 1959. I think this outfit may have came out in 1962. But it's called Solo in the Spotlight. And I just posted a video on my Facebook of me performing in this. I did La Vie en Rose, and it's like a black, glittery sheath dress that goes all the way down and really shows my curves and has like this gorgeous tulle at the bottom. I'm just obsessed, and I've never felt more gorgeous in it.
Oh, and it's like a nice chic glitter dress, basically, correct?
Kind of, essentially, it's like woven into the fabric, which is kind of cool, like tinsel almost.
Yes, I love those kind of dresses. Now, as we've mentioned before, you are very talented and you are able to do many things. One of your many talents is you actually style some of your own wigs. Is that true?
I do. I even styled this one I'm wearing today.
Oh my goodness. Where did you learn your talent to actually style hair?
I have to give James Mansfield on YouTube a lot of credit. I've seen a lot of his videos and I'm just very inspired by him. He does a lot of stuff that is very my style. Another person is Online Kine, I think is their YouTube name, but they're on Canadian Drag Race. Kine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made a ton of like wig videos, and so I've watched all of those, and I loved them. I started watching them before they got on Drag Race, and I'm just so excited for them to see what they're gonna do.
Oh,
But I kind of just learned how to style wigs from YouTube, mostly.
God, the power of YouTube, people. You can learn to do anything. I'm telling you. Now, when you're creating these fabulous hair pieces, where do you pull some of the inspiration when you're actually creating a custom piece?
If it's for me and it's something more vintage inspired, I like to pull direct references from movies. A lot of movies from like the 60s, a lot of movies with Marilyn or even Jane Mansfield or Jane Russell, Rita Hayworth. I love her and her red hair. Oh, I'm obsessed. But I like to pull references from old Hollywood and do things that like some of the greats have done because they're such recognizable hairstyles that like just putting that on, you hardly have to do anything else if you have good hair, you know.
You know, that's why I've gotten so much prettier through the years. You know, I just bought better hair and all of a sudden this got better.
And your hair today is fabulous.
Oh, thank you. It's just something I whipped up this morning. No,
Yeah.
yeah. So, love, you are also a very, 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 very talented makeup artist, as we've talked about. Where did it, you've mentioned that you've learned some of your skills on YouTube, but like, how did you become so polished at it?
I've just practiced on myself, find out what works, find out different techniques. The one trick I tell everyone, even the people that I've painted recently, is I like to tell everyone that my biggest secret is blending. You layer color, you blend, blend, and when you think you're done, you blend more because you're never done. Never done. That's why it takes forever. You can always build color back up if it goes away, you know, from blending too much.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember the days back in the dark times when we never blended and you could see our beards and it always looked really muddy in the cheeks. And then you learn the skills, how to contour and how to like make it look pretty. And it's all of a sudden, it's like, who's that queen looking at me in the mirror?
Right? It's almost unrecognizable, you know, once you like kind of train yourself to just, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Just really define certain lines and just have other places really blended. And that's the trick, is just having really, really solid block color against really blended color.
Oh my goodness. Now, how long does it usually take you to actually paint your face, you mentioned?
Usually about 3 hours. It took me about 3 today.
3 hours. And what is the toughest thing that you usually face painting your own face?
The toughest thing that I face is probably doing my eyebrows. It's the first thing I do because it's the most intimidating. And sometimes, one time, it took me an entire hour just to do my eyebrows. And then after I did that, my eyebrows started coming up and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So I had to take it all off and do it all again. But you know, I think the eyebrows, as much as I love them, are the hardest part that I've kind of had to deal with.
Oh my God. I feel like eyebrows and lips could make or break your entire face.
They
And
can.
your eye makeup could be perfect, your contours could be perfect. The moment you need to start praying to God or Satan or whatever you believe in is when you start doing those eyebrows and doing the lips. And I've ruined many of faces with trying to get my face and getting my beautiful lips perfect.
Yeah, no, I've been seeing a lot of really fun and really cute lip shapes, but it's really hard, you know, because a lot of lips don't work on your face. Like me personally, I have really defined smile lines, and even though I'd love to do those Bratz looking lips that Lilac and Salem does, where she kind of draws up, I can't because when I smile, it deforms the top lip, and so I'm like, dang it. But that's the
I
fun
hear
thing with
you.
trying out makeup, is that you find out what works and what doesn't, you know?
Oh my goodness. You know, it's funny you say that because my lips are ever evolving and they look amazing today, but sometimes I try to do like what they call the Joker lips where they come out to those severe points. But as you mentioned, I have smile lines. So when I actually go to smile, I get this weird where the points like go down and it's like I look a little scary and I'm like, okay, I need to change my lips up. So that's why I look like this today.
Absolutely. No, I get exactly what you're saying. That's why I have to draw my lip just under my natural lip line.
Absolutely. Now, your makeup skills are so legendary at this point that you don't just paint yourself. Most recently, you come out with an online series where you do makeup makeovers on not new queens, but legendary popular queens from all over Portland, including Kimberly Michelle Westwood, Angel Phoenix, and Bougie Cherry. Tell us a little bit about that experience.
I've been having the most amazing time painting all of these legendary queens in Portland. My biggest goal with doing this was to take someone who has such an iconic face, like Kimberly Michelle Westwood or Diana Fire or Angel Phoenix, you know, that I wanted to see if I could shape shift them into someone else and someone unrecognizable. And that was kind of the fun journey with all of these other queens while, you know, getting to know them, painting them. But just the aftermath and the reveal is the most exciting because everyone is so speechless. They're like, I not because it's like bad or good or anything, but just because they're so unrecognizable from what they usually look like in drag. And that's kind of been the main goal, is to make people look different and new while maintaining high beauty. So, and that's one thing that scares me about getting my makeup painted or having someone paint me, is I'm so scared that someone's going to paint me and then it's going to come out really like scary, or it's not going to look like me, that certain parts of my face are going to come out weird. But working with all these queens, I've, you know, like talked with them and found out what their insecurities are, where we can work on stuff, where to hide things, where to put lines, because everyone's face is different. You know, even though I'm painting people in my style or my techniques, everyone requires such unique technique that like everyone looks different, and it's so fun and it's been so enjoyable.
Oh my goodness. And you do, like you said, you do have definitely your own techniques that you do, but I think every single face you painted has its own look to it. I mean, Kimberly Michelle Westwood, I had to like look at it 4 or 5 times, zoom in on it, and be like, that's not Kim. That can't be Kim. And I was like, fuck. I mean, she's always beautiful. We all know this. We all like try to throw acid in her face to make her less pretty, but she's still so flawless. But when you painted her, it was really just so beautiful. It was even, I mean, it was just a different kind of pretty, I would say.
Painting Kimberly was so fun. We talked so much, and that's probably why it took us a long time to get her paint on. But I really loved the turnout, and I thought she was absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, it wasn't like so outrageous over the top, but like just little things that have changed, that like she was stunning. Sorry. She was stunning.
Well, I love it. Now, what do you like most about painting other queens?
I love getting to know them. I love really connecting with people on a personal level, and, you know, people getting to know me. When I'm out in public and out in drag, I don't really open up a lot. I don't talk a lot about what I do at home or my personal life, but I've kind of used this opportunity to get to know all these queens and for them to get to know me, and I've been having like the most amazing time. And one queen that shocked me, that was probably one of my favorite paints, was doing Diana Fire. Her makeup is so iconic because she's a bearded queen and she does her lips a certain way, that was the biggest challenge. It's like, how are people gonna recognize that it's Diana Fire if I don't do the makeup the same? And I did my own thing and people were obsessed and living, and I don't know, I love going on that journey with everyone, and just getting to know everyone on a personal level has been my most favorite.
I love that. That's very sweet too, because just like with Bitch Talk, it allows me an opportunity to again see queens beyond what I see in the bars or during their performances. I get to see that vulnerability, and I get to know them again on a different level. So I love that you're experiencing that yourself through your makeovers. Now, ooh, See, how to brain fart. Do you feel like painting all these other queens have actually given you an advantage when you're painting yourself and giving you new skills that you're learning that you may have not already known?
Absolutely. Yeah. Like when I painted Kimberly Westwood, she does her makeup such a like certain way that I even learned a little like some little tricks from her that I used for myself. And like I was never a person to set my makeup, with like what they call baking. I never did that, but I've been starting to do that
The
recently.
scandal of it all.
I know. I don't know how to bake. I'm not a good cook. um, but also with Angel Phoenix, the way she does her like glitter on her lips, just techniques that I never knew kind of existed that people use. And I'm like just so in awe by all these people I see out all the time. And I'm like, how did you do that? So it was really fun to learn like other people's little tiny secret tips and trades of doing makeup.
My goodness. Well, I think that's truly wonderful. But on a darker side of it all, what would you say are some of the challenges you've faced painting some of these queens? Is it some of them are old, right? They're wrinkly. Tell me the tea.
Oh my goodness. I wouldn't say old, but they're hairy. No,
Oh,
I'm kidding. Um, I don't know. Like I mentioned earlier, the biggest challenge with like Diana was her beard, dealing with the hair. Another challenge with Kimberly was she was saying that she wanted her face more like slimmed instead of very round. And so that was another challenge to try and do that. But I don't know. The biggest challenge has kind of just been making sure that everyone feels stunning at the end. Because I don't want to finish a paint, I don't want to finish a makeover until they feel the fantasy, till they can't stop looking at themselves in the mirror going, oh my God, where's my phone? I need to take photos. Because I don't know, I feel like everyone kind of deserves that little moment of like, I'm the prettiest bitch in the room, so everyone else can kind of screw off.
well, I think personally, just from an outside perspective, I think you gave that moment to the one and only Portland legend herself, Bougie Cherry, because I saw that makeup you did on her on like 6 different looks that day. She was taking pictures, and you could definitely tell she was feeling her oats and feeling gorgeous.
We had so much fun doing that little that like photo shoot moment, because we did one from like 70s and then the 80s and the 90s, and we just had like a really fun time taking photos all day. Um and again, like I've gotten so close to all these queens that I've painted that not only are they my local sisters, but they're part of my family now, and I'm very, very thankful for them.
That's so beautiful. Now, out of all those queens that you've painted, who was your favorite?
My favorite was probably painting Scarlet Rose, the Rosebud of Portland, because she's so talented. For such a young queen, she is uber talented. And our families kind of knew each other from back in the day. And so we had a weird kind of like personal connection. And I wanted to reach out and get kind of, closer. And I'm like, hey, let's hang out. How do you feel about me doing your makeup and doing a photo shoot? And she's like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. And we did. And it was probably one of my favorites. She was the one that had the bubble flip and like the red. Yeah, very like Archie 60s moment. I was obsessed, just gagged. She was probably one of my favorites.
When you do these makeovers, are you supplying the costume and hair also, or are you just doing the face?
It really depends on the situation. Every queen is, a one-on-one basis. With Scarlett, it was her hair and her outfit. I, just restyled her hair for her. But with like Kisses Ash, I think she was actually wearing this hair when I had it styled a little differently, but I dressed up her own. So it kind of just a mix of both. I have a lot of stuff here that I'm able to, supply people for photo shoots, but I want people to be individual and to have their own things and be able to let their own stuff that they own shine. And so that's been really fun, kind of mixing and matching with everyone else's drag.
My goodness. Well, can we expect any more of these fabulous makeup makeovers in the near future? And I will just say, if you need any additional sacrifices, I will put on some white, pretend I'm a virgin, and be like, take me, Miss Petty, make me pretty.
Oh, good, because I have the sacrificial knife ready. um, in the future, I definitely have more plans. I have some people on my list already. Names include Cyrus St. James and even Anonymous Phoenix. So I'm so excited and I can't wait to finally paint them. Things are on a little bit of a schedule right now just because of, coronavirus and we want to stay safe. Um, so in the future, you can definitely expect more makeovers from me.
Well, I definitely can't wait. And I think your makeovers are one of those things that I think are fun. But one thing, can I make a suggestion? Just a little one.
Absolutely.
Well, you film the makeovers. Like, I would love to see you actually painting them and like what they did for like James. Oh God, I'm feeling such a bad fucking queer right now. From like Party Monster. You know who I'm talking about? When he did his makeover videos, they do the whole makeover and they speed it up and just slow down for the funny moments.
Yeah, so fun story, and not to be shady to a queen, but Miss Kimberly Michelle Westwood and I, Kimberly Michelle Westwood and I were originally supposed to paint each other, and we were going to film it. But some things fell through and schedules were different, so we just decided that I would paint them, and that's okay. Because in the future, who knows what's going to happen? And I definitely want to film them in the future, but I think just starting out, I just wanted to make those personal connections, not have to be bothered with a camera. I just wanted everyone to be very comfortable. And that's all I'm about, is making sure that everyone is absolutely 100% comfortable with everything that I'm doing, every product I'm using, every technique that we're doing before I even start.
Oh my goodness. Well, Petty, I'm just going to say this right now. There's no need to lie. We know all right now that Kimberly Michelle Westwood put you in a full face and you looked in the mirror and said, this is so inferior to what I can do to myself. So I'm going to wash this off and not post this on Facebook.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
I love the scandal of it all. Well, we absolutely are loving those makeovers. Now, I also think we need to talk about something that happened very recently, and that is that they did a fantastic Pride Fest video virtual show for the Portland performers for Beauty Boys, and you were part of that, and you did quite the scandalous performance to Violet Chotsky's Betty, giving us so much vintage realness. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, so the Beauty Boys event, Portland Pride Edition, was so amazing. And I'm really glad I got to work with amazing people like Henry Felton and Kimberly Westwood and all these other people that were involved. And how this started was I was contacted asking to be part of the show. And I'm like, okay, I've had this idea for a very long time, probably a little over a year. So I contacted my best friend, Travis, and I'm like, look, here's the idea, here's the song, this is what I want to do. And they're like, okay, ha, ha, ha. And then I'm like, no, I'm serious, I want to. They're like, this isn't another one of your just ideas. And I'm like, no, we're going to do it. And it took us 2 days. I got in makeup 2 days, and we did 7 looks, filmed everything, did all the day shots in the day, all the night shots at night. We stayed up all night one time. Like, I think we started filming around 8 o'clock. When we did that big dance scene where it's all red and super sexy, we started filming at 8 and we didn't end up finishing filming until almost 6 a.m.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that sounds like so much went into creating that video. One of the
Absolutely.
interesting parts that I found scandalous but very titillating, and that was it when it flashes black and white, and it gave you a very much remnants to those kind of shocking videos that Betty Page herself used to create, where they're being tied up and they're kind of gagged. Tell us a little bit about creating that almost S&M tied up realness look that you did during your video.
Absolutely. I drew a lot of inspiration. I don't know if you have seen it, but if anyone watching, or if you have a chance to in your free time, go on Amazon Prime and watch Betty Page Reveals All. It's a documentary about her and her life, and it's even narrated by her before she passed away. But in part of the film, they talked heavily about all those shots and all those scenes that she used to film. And I used exact references to some things that she did, where like when she was tied up and like when she was tied up in the chair. And I made sure that things were created exactly the way they were, because I just wanted to create this tribute to her because she's just so iconic. And Travis and I had a lot of fun filming that. And you want to know how we did it? So basically we were filming on like an app on our phone while he has a flashlight, trying to like flash it and film and be all crazy. And then we had to go and splice in and edit, and it was just insane. But being tied up for that long, it was definitely very, very fun.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, are you someone that likes that more kinky side of life?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm definitely one of those kinky mistresses. You don't know what I've got hiding in my drawer next to my bed.
But I know what's hiding in between your legs. Well, what would you think the one and only Betty Page would think of your virtual performance inspired by her if she was alive today?
I would just hope she's very proud, just because I have so much respect for her. And that's why I wanted everything to be exact, because I didn't just want to be like a parody or a spoof of her. I wanted to pay homage. I wanted to do something that will bring more awareness and just like bring her name back out into the world and, you know, make her popular again. Although I do wish that Violet Chachki would see my video. That would just change my life.
Well, you know what? We have a platform right here, boys and girls, so we'll make sure to share your virtual performance within Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, and all of you beautiful boys and girls and all of those in between. If any of you know anyone out there, just share, and let's see if we can make this girl's fantasy come true. Ooh, and get Violet Chachki herself to see this fantastic video inspired and used by her music, Violet's song Betty. So share. Well, I love this. Now, this video itself looked so professional, like a real music video. Did you edit it yourself?
I did. Me and Travis edited it together. We kind of took turns, but we filmed part of it on an iPhone, like all the slow-mo parts. It was just iPhone. And then we filmed another part on a DSLR camera, but we just edited using iMovie. Nothing fancy. I know. I'm just like everyone else. I don't have fancy equipment, so you got to make what you have work, you know?
Get it, Queen. What would you say was the most challenging part of filming and editing that video?
The most challenging part was being in drag the whole time. After about 8 hours of filming, you know, you kind of get burned out. But the other challenging part was editing and just trying to cut down all that footage. We filmed so much. We had hours and hours, maybe even like 2 days, like 48 hours worth of footage that we had to like cut down. So I think that was like the biggest challenging part, but there was some little parts that we knew we wanted to highlight. And so once things were in their main places, everything else just kind of fell in place.
Girl, yes. Now, you've mentioned this idea you've had in your head for many, many years. So what did it mean to you to actually finally be able to watch it and see it come to life out of the madness that was inside your brain?
I watch it every day. I'm not even gonna lie. I watch it every day. I'm just still so obsessed, and I'm just so proud of myself for doing that. And me and Travis are in the works on another music video coming soon. So hopefully everyone will tune in for that. But I don't know. I want to go on this journey, this music video journey, and I am just excited to see what's possible, you know.
Oh my goodness. Well, I can personally not wait to see what you serve us in the near future. And I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I have desires myself that I want to see you do. Like, I want to see a Morticia Addams realness coming from you, just because I think she's that pinup, but a little bit of spooky pinup. I wouldn't even hate seeing you dressed up as Vampira. Duh.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but Halloween is coming.
And so am I after hearing that. Well, love, um, you are a fierce bitch. How do you feel like drag has affected your life for the positive?
That's challenging because drag has been the biggest challenge probably in my life so far. Just because there's so many people involved and there's social media is so insane. But the biggest positive outlook I kind of see from drag is that I've been able to grow a family. I've been able to make connections in the city with other people that are just like me, who enjoy the things that I do, that I can feel comfortable around. And all I can say is haters will hate and people will be jealous, but I'm happier than I could ever be right now. And nobody can take that away from me.
Well, I love that, girl. And if I may say, welcome to the circus, and I will just be one of those clowns cheering you on, girl.
Oh,
Now, do you feel like drag has affected your confidence, not just when you're in drag, but actually in everyday life also?
a little bit, but I wouldn't say too much. As a boy, I'm still very, very shy. I like to just hang out by the wall. I'm like that kid at the dance that's waiting at the back, waiting for someone to ask him, and no one ever does. That's me. But I don't know. I'm more comfortable walking up to people who I've worked with, other queens now, when I'm not in drag, where I might not have done that before. Because, drag queens are very intimidating, especially if you're very new to the drag scene. You're like, oh my gosh, who is this like local celebrity coming in, even though you don't know who they are? But like, just having the confidence to go up and say hi to a queen, or like a new queen, or to the bartender, or to other people, or to make new friends, or like a group of people that might not be, communicating with other people, trying to open up things and just make new connections.
Absolutely. Now, in the pre-interview, you've mentioned to me you have quite a love for horror movies.
Oh, I
And
love them.
really, what is it about horror that you love so much?
Well, I really wanted to do like movie producing and just be involved in movies when I was in high school. And I think that's where it kind of stemmed from. I used to make like weird little short horror films. I won a competition for a silent film festival for my horror film I made. I don't know. I love being behind the camera and I love the magic of what makes horror scary, because when you're there, you know what's happening, but when you're watching it, what's in your mind is more scary. Um, my top three horror films of all time: Scream is number one.
Yeah.
Sinister, that one with the movies and the film, is number two. I love that soundtrack. It's so spooky. And number three would probably be that movie Trick or Treat. Have you seen that one?
You want to know a secret?
I do.
I just watched it this morning as I was
Me
getting
too.
ready.
We both watched
I
it this morning.
Yeah, so I am, if so a little secret for you, Miss Patty, is I am a humongous horror film fan. Like when you talk about horror geeks, I'm one of them. And like I get to the point where I've gone to a barbecue that Bruce Campbell was at. I was dear friends with the star of the original Friday the 13th film, who actually has a wine label out in Applegate where I was raised. So to me, horror is almost a lifestyle for me, because like you go into my front room and there's like a 4-tier shelf, nothing but horror movies.
That's great.
And I feel like horror has definitely influenced me as a queen. Now, with that said, could we expect any maybe spooky, kooky kind of styles and influences to start seeing in your drag from the horror scene?
I like to pop some things in here and there. You'll definitely see some stuff more in the fall. I have something very, very big planned that I can't really talk about yet. But all I can say is there's a lot of spook on the horizons.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's play just a little game if you don't mind. And this is our normal game that we do at the end. This is a little something extra. I'm going to just ask, out of 3 men, who you would prefer to go home with, maybe get slaughtered by. So Michael Myers, Jason, or Freddy Krueger. Who do you want to get killed by, girl?
Michael Myers. Have you seen those hands?
Oh, the tall, silent type, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I love it. Now, what would you ultimately love to do with your drag career?
I really just want to, that's a really big and great question. It's so intimidating. I don't know. I want to help other people who are like me, inspire other people like me, and bring people up with me. I just want success for everyone. That's one of the main goals. So if I can bring people in the local area up with me with any opportunities I have, I will. I will do everything I can. And who knows? Maybe with the way things are going, I might end up on a TV show, here, California. Who knows? I don't know. The future is unpredictable, but I definitely think that's a goal, and I want to have a voice, and I'm just excited.
Well, speaking of reality TV shows, that does lead into my next question. There are many platforms out there that give us as drag queens an opportunity to be seen. And now with so many opportunities, or I mean, so many different platforms, there's opportunities for queens to be more who they are as a performer. Now, what platform would you be most attracted to? RuPaul's Drag Race, Dragula, or maybe even Camp Wanakiki?
So fun story. I have a little tidbit on every single one of those. I contemplated about being in Camp Wanakiki. I even messaged Diana Fire for some advice. But even though I can be kind of funny sometimes, I'm not always quick-witted. I still struggle with trying to be funny, and especially being funny on the spot. So I kind of ruled out Camp Wanakiki. As for Dragula, yeah,
I
as
just
for
want to say, woo, thank God, because I applied to Camp Wanakiki this year, and I will just say I don't want to compete against your ass.
Yeah, good thing. With Dragula, I definitely felt in my baby queen years that might have been the platform I wanted to go. But some of those mini challenges, like the elimination challenges, are so scary. I'm not a thrill seeker. I don't like roller coasters. Some of them had to jump out of a plane. They had to eat a spider. No, absolutely not. While all of them are sickening, I could never. I definitely, though, feel like I might have a spot on Drag Race just because I'm different. I'm unique. There isn't someone like me that I've seen on there. I want to see more little tiny queens. There hasn't been a lot of representation. There was like Kenya Michaels, I
Kenya
think.
Michaels,
Oh my goodness. Angina. Yeah, there's not very many. So I don't know. I want to be a pocket gay.
Oh my
But
goodness. That should totally be your like drag aesthetic theme, is pocket-sized drag queen.
literally. And while there's been queens like Violet Chachki and Max and all these other like vintage queens on Drag Race, I feel like I still bring something that's a little different and unique compared to everyone else. So who knows? Maybe one day things might happen. I don't know though. It's just going to take a lot of work.
Well, reality TV has definitely given us so many options. And if we don't see you on Camp Wanakiki, Dragula, or maybe even Drag Race, maybe we'll see you on something like Cops.
Cops got canceled.
And so did you. No, I'm joking.
Oh, I've been canceled, honey. I've been canceled.
And you're ready for your comeback like the mighty Phoenix.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, love, we're almost at the end of this interview, and then we're going to play another little game. Now, what's something we should know about Petty Page that we may not know?
I have some exciting things. The very first thing I want to talk about is I made a very special playlist on Spotify for everyone listening to enjoy. It's kind of a mixture of all of my favorites. I sent you the link, and anyone else that needs the link, I'd be more than happy to send it to. But I just wanted people to kind of listen to the kind of music I listen to, because that's such a big part of what I do when I'm home, not doing drag. I just always have headphones on. I'm always dancing around, and I wanted to bring people into my fantasy. Other than that, some other things, my husband and I, we are big, avid vintage Barbie collectors. We have hundreds of dolls, and one day I'd love to show you if you're ever here.
Oh my God, yes.
But we have dolls from like early 60s all the way up into new modern. I also collect other fashion dolls and Little Mermaid memorabilia.
Do you ever do like what you see online, those Barbie doll makeovers where they like take acetone and wipe off the original makeup and redo them? Sometimes they do drag queen inspired ones. I mean, I'm dying now hearing this about you. I need to see a Petty Page inspired Barbie.
Things may be coming. I'm obsessed with doll repainting. That's one of my hobbies, is just watching those and being so inspired by them. I have the supplies. I haven't produced anything yet, but who knows, maybe in the future.
Oh my gosh. And wouldn't it be kind of fun to have like that Petty Page moment with you in your little housewife dress and you're painting the Barbie and like, look how talented I am.
Oh my goodness, no. But yes, no, I feel the fantasy. I get it.
Well, perfect. Now, what can we expect next from Petty Page? You've told us a few things. Are there any more virtual performances that we can look forward to?
Other than my music videos I'm currently working on, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling like trying out for a pageant, but
What? Wait, what? You? Pageant? Tell me more.
I don't know though. I don't know. I'm not a pageant queen. I've never done a pageant, but I know
But
that.
are you competitive?
I'm sorry?
Are you competitive?
Oh, I'm extremely. I don't do something unless I want to win. Um, but I know Vancouver just opened up their pageant. I might be waiting for something in Portland, more local, to open up online. But something like that would definitely be exciting and something I'd want to try in the future.
Well, I definitely think you would be a fierce pageant queen. I definitely cannot wait to see you in a little something slinky with like a big slit coming up to your upper thigh.
Jessica Rabbit, eat your heart out.
Oh my goodness. Now, we have one last Ooh, frog got in my throat. Well, we have one last question before we go into our announcements and our games. And this one is one of the most important questions out of all of them. And I'm going to judge you depending on your answer. What did you think of your experience on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock?
Reclaiming my time. That's all I have to say, honey.
Oh,
no, I'm just kidding. I had the most fabulous, amazing time. And I'm so thankful that you chose me to be on your podcast with you. And I can't wait to talk with you more after this, to hang out with you and just to get to know you better. I had the most amazing time. Thank you so much.
absolutely. I have to say, I am a big fan of you, and I live all the way out here in the Emerald City, Eugene, Oregon, but my freaking fat ass will fly down the freeway to come see you anytime, especially if you threaten me with makeup. I'll be like, oh, wait, you want to put makeup on me? Okay, Bonnie, come on, we're going to Portland.
Oh, girl, I just might. You never know.
Oh my goodness. Well, girl, it's been such an honor to have you here on Bitch Talk with Bitchcock. Now, all of you beautiful boys and girls and all of those in between, if you've enjoyed this fantastic episode, I want you to look down below within the description where you can find PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo information for both the Petty Page and Melina Bitchcock. And if you've enjoyed this episode, just throw a few extra dollar bills at both of us. You know, nothing big, maybe 100, maybe a 50, you know, just a little something to show that you were titillated by this interview.
I love that word, titillated.
Oh my God, I love dirty, like mom puns, like titillated, and I'm like the drag queen of dad jokes.
Love that. Love that.
Well, all of you beautiful people, I hope that you're so excited because I actually am kind of sad myself because Bitch Talk with Bitchcock season 1 is coming to an end on July 31st. But with that said, we are reaching episode 50. Oh my God. Who knew what you could do during quarantine, right?
That's
50
absolutely insane.
episodes.
That's amazing.
Oh my goodness. Well, we have some great announcements for our next episode. We have episode 49. So our second to last episode where I get to interview a drag baby. And when I say drag baby, I mean they are literally turning 18 years old. So I want to get a different perspective of drag. And we are going to have to the Bitch Talk with Bitchcock stage, episode 49, on the 22nd of July, the one and only Chastity. She is part of a drag family with Amy to Kill and Bougie Cherry. And believe me, being part of that drag family, she's going to have all kinds of shit to talk. So, Miss Petty, before we say our goodbyes to everyone, do you want to maybe play a little game with me?
Oh, you dog, you.
Wait, what'd you call me? Huh? Who let the dogs out? See, I'm way too of a silly queen for you to be calling me a dog. I'll get into it. Especially when my boyfriend's actually a puppy, so hey.
I am definitely into that.
Oh my God, girl. I thought my boyfriend was a sweet, innocent boy next door. And then I corrupted him. And next thing you know, he's wanting to tie me up and wear a dog hood and bark at me. And I'm like, do it some more. I love it.
That's just my Friday night, honey.
Well, Miss Petty Page, we are going to play a couple of games. The first one we're going to do to get you lubed up and bring some alcohol into your life, we like to call this little game Truth or Drink. And how it will work is I'm going to ask you a series of shady questions, and you can either answer truthfully or take a shot.
Sounds great. I have my drink ready. Today I'm drinking Jack Daniel's Southern Peach.
Oh my goodness. Is it fruity and tasty or does it taste like a man?
All of the above.
Gotta love a good peach. Now, love, for round one, or truth or drink, tell us about your worst wardrobe malfunction.
Oh, this is a fun story. So this story, I was performing in Vancouver for Kisses Ash's show. Lots of S's. And I was doing this Lana Del Rey number, and I had this gorgeous reveal with this designer gold gown dress that I have. And as I'm zipping off the back, it gets stuck on my corset ribbon, and the zipper rips out of the dress. I can't get the dress off, and it's just hanging behind me, just trailing, and I can see it. I'm flipping it around, and I'm like, I guess that's it. And so I left with my dress completely torn in two, because I ripped it in half trying to get it off. Like, it's all on video too.
Oh my God. And did that dress have to get thrown away, or did you try to repair it?
Absolutely not. I'm going to repair it. It just needs a new zipper.
Well, gotta love that tea right there. Now, for round two, we all like to have an adult beverage once in a while. But with us drag queens, especially when they give us free alcohol, can sometimes overdo it and get a little drunk. Have you actually ever performed drunk in drag?
The scandal, but I will say I have. Now, what happened was at the iconic, legendary Tonic Lounge, rest her soul, I was in Not Another Drag Show, ran by Autumn Rain's Hart and Diana Fire. And I had had a few Cascadia ciders, maybe quite a few. And I have on video evidence again, me completely blasted doing Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, feeling my oats while looking like oats. And it was, it was a journey. I have a video of it on TikTok and I put funny audio to it, but that was, let's just say that was the last time I performed drunk.
Oh my goodness. And would you say you're more of a happy drunk or a sloppy drunk?
I'd like to say I'm a happy drunk, but time and time again, sadness has proven otherwise.
Oh no, the tea of it. Well, perfect. For round three, This one we get to spill someone else's tea, maybe, or yours, who knows. Tell us about the most scandalous backstage story that you've witnessed.
And ooh.
Oh, she took a shot on that. She said, fuck no, I'm not getting canceled today, miss.
I will choose to remain anonymous in this situation.
Ooh, that's how I choose to be on Grindr, anonymous. Okay, for round 4, speaking of Grindr, have you ever had sex in drag?
I've never had sex in drag. I don't like to mix the two because although I am a woman, I'm feeling a fantasy. I am still not a woman down there. I don't want to be a woman down there, but I am not judging anyone who does because they are my sisters and brothers and all the trans community I love so much. But no, I've never done anything in drag. Maybe one time, but I won't go into the specifics.
Oh my goodness. You only did it one time? I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I've lost count. I've done it so many times, and usually in the back alley by a dumpster. And then
That's
I get
where you
back
do
to the
it.
show, and everyone's like, Melina, what happened to your face? Where's your lips? I'm like, they're on his dick.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, girl. I left him in his pants. Oh, scandal.
That's some tea.
Yes. For round 5 and your last question of truth or drink, are there any venues that you would prefer to never perform at again?
I'll answer you. I'm going to take a drink anyway, but I don't know. I personally don't know if I will return to Lovecraft Bar just because I've kind of parted ways with some people that produce shows there, and I want them to have their own space, and I'm going to make my own space somewhere else. So I will just continue to avoid that venue.
Okay, well, let's do this, Miss Thing. Cheers to new beginnings and further careers, and let's take a good, nice cocktail.
Love it.
Mm. Oh my goodness. Now, we are going to move into our next game, which is quite scandalous. But before we do, now, Petty, a little birdie told me that we might be able to catch you once in a while, maybe out in Portland at Stag, at some of the brunches they do. When's the next time we may be able to see you in a live performance?
That is still under wraps. I haven't been communicated with. We did have one show, Bad Girls Brunch, hosted by Angel Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
But with quarantine and with everything happening right now, a lot of shows are on the back burner. But hopefully in the future, we can come back, do brunch every 3rd Sunday, and just have a good old time in Kiki.
Oh my goodness. Always good to do a Kiki and not always a Kai Kai, because a Kai Kai sometimes keeps you pregnant. Okay, girl. Well, speaking of Kai Kai, we're going to play a little game that tends to get everyone in trouble, but quite entertains me. And this is a little game that we call Marry, Kai Kai, or Cancel. And how it's going to work is I'm going to name 3 names at you at a time. And out of those 3 names, I'm going to need you to choose who you want to marry, who you want to Kai Kai with, and whose shows you want to see get canceled completely.
I'm so ready.
Oh my God. And I can promise you, as a sweet and innocent queen, there's no shady names on here at all.
I know that's a lie.
For round 1, we are going to get some of your closest girlfriends. And they are not just close. You gave makeovers to all 3 of them. So for round 1, I need you to choose from the legendary Angel Phoenix, the sexy and sassy Bougie Cherry, and of course, the Empress of a Decade, Kimberly Michelle Westwood.
All right, I already have this answer. First, I'm gonna kill Bougie Cherry. I already have her grave picked out right next door. And then I think I'm gonna marry Angel Phoenix. They they always talk about how good of a housewife they are being at home, and I love someone taking care of me. So I'll marry them. And I don't know, Kimberly Michelle Westwood seems kind of freaky to me. So I might kai with Kimberly.
Well, I hope you're a top.
I just might be. You don't know?
Well, and I love to hear for once, Angel Phoenix did not get canceled. She actually got married. Girl, I'm so happy.
Right?
For round 2, let's see if we can really make this a family affair as I make you pick from a drag family. So we have the legendary and beautiful Amy to Kill, the sassy Tokyo Plains, and the drag baby that will be on the next episode of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, Chastity.
I think I will marry Chastity. I'm gonna kai with Tokyo, and I'm gonna cancel Amy, that bitch. Give me my shit back.
Oh,
I'm
my
just
goodness.
kidding.
Well, I'm
But yeah,
going to
cancel
say,
Amy.
just for standard of it all, you better wait till Chastity turns 18 before you marry her, young lady.
As long as I get permission from her parents.
Oh my goodness, scandal. Okay, for round 3, we have the queen of hair herself, Miss Lilac, the legendary queen of black magic, Rogue Safari, and the queen of Darcells, Syra St. James.
Oh my goodness. First of all, I gotta kai with Syra, because I know her grinder game is top notch. Then I think I'm going to cancel Lilac, because only one queen can have good wigs around here.
Oh.
And then the third, who was the third?
So your third would be Rogue Safari.
That means Miss Rogue Safari and I are getting married. Get your stuff, girl. We're gonna have to get the ceremony going.
I can hear the bells. Oh, wait.
Can't you hear them chime?
Yes, queen. Well, for round 4, we have the beautiful and legendary superstar diva herself, Miss Bolivia Carmichaels, the queen from Camp Wanakiki, and that has the beard that everyone wants between their legs, Diana Fire, and she's flawless from top to bottom, the beautiful Flawless Shade.
Oh my goodness, what an exciting bunch of people to pick from. I'm going to have to say, oh, who was the first one?
Well, you said it was exciting. You can't even fucking remember. Come on, Miss Petty Page.
Yeah,
So the first one was Bolivia Carmichaels.
That's right. Okay. I'm going to have to marry Bolivia. I need to marry Bolivia. She needs to be in my life forever. I need to cancel Flawless only because she's used to getting canceled and she knows how to come back. Bitches, she can do it. And then I'm just gonna have to kai with the other one.
Okay, well, I just have to also answer this one because you answered it so beautifully. I would just change it like slightly. I would definitely, like you, kai with Diana Fire because, like we said, who doesn't want that beard between their legs?
She's a daddy bear, and that's what I'm talking about.
But I would have to say I would have to marry the beautiful Flawless Shade because, I mean, I fucking love Flawless. And when you talk about a beautiful, flawless human in or out of drag, it's that bitch right there. So I would definitely have to marry Flawless, but that would mean I would have to cancel Bolivia Carmichaels, and you can't tell her.
No. But no, Flawless is so gorgeous and beautiful, and there can only be one pretty bitch in Portland, so bye.
Yeah. So now what are you going to do about that with Kimberly Michelle Westwood still there?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, we have one last round, and then we're going to say our goodbyes to everyone. For round 5, we have the one and only Kisses Ash, the legendary Adele Doe, and the beautiful Scarlet Rose.
My family. This is so hard. I'm ready. I'm gonna kill Adele Doe because I already have one in my drawer. I don't need two. And then I'm going to marry Scarlet because she has so much potential, and I think we'd make a great pair. And then that means I'm so airheaded. Oh my gosh, did I kill someone already or did I marry them?
Oh my gosh, I think you married, so I think you have a cancel. You have a cancel left.
Oh no, goodbye kisses, Ash. I love you. But like the phoenix, you will grow again from the ash. That was you.
Oh my goodness, rise from the ashes, Miss Ash. Well, beautiful, I have some great news for you.
I'm ready.
You survived the entire interview of Bitch Talk with Bitchcock.
Get out of here. No way.
Oh my goodness, and you spilled so much tea, and I'm really thankful that you came on the show for us to see a different side of Petty.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I had an amazing time. I love talking about all my sisters in Portland and just getting to spread some positivity online.
Oh my goodness, absolutely beautiful. Now, all of you beautiful boys and girls and all of those in between, again, if you love this episode with the amazing Petty page, look down below within the description where you can find all the tipping information. And please make sure you tip our special guests. They put a lot of work to come in here, get made up during quarantine and spill all their tea. So even if you don't personally tip me, please make sure you tip Petty. She really put a lot of work into this, and I really want to see her get appreciated. Now, for all of you beautiful people out there, please tune in for this Friday, again, as we interview the beautiful and talented Chastity, and then tune in for episode 50 on the 31st of July, where we are going to do a Freaky Friday episode, and we are going to break all the fucking rules, boys and girls, and I might as well announce it here. We are going to bring back a past guest. We already spun the wheel and found out who is coming back. We will have, she's beautiful, she's talented, the one and only Slutasia will be returning to the Bitch Talk with Bitchcock stage July 31st to not just return and be silly, but she's going to get given all the Bitch Talk with Bitchcock power, which means she will be interviewing the one and only bitch herself. That's right. We are turning the tables, and Slutasia will be returning to interview Melina Bitchcock. Why not end the season with a big bang? Well, speaking of big bangs, all of you beautiful boys and girls, I have appreciated you tuning in to Bitch Talk with Bitchcock, and I cannot wait to see all of you beautiful next time. Again, Petty Page, thank you for being here, and I cannot wait to hang out with you, love.
Of course, thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for watching.
Absolutely. Again, all of you be safe this weekend, and all are beautiful. Mwah!